It is great to see you all, and we appreciate you spending some time with us this afternoon to get some updates about things that are happening at Yuba College. I am going to get us started. First, I want to just give some quick facilities updates. As you all have likely seen, Building 800 activity is happening and happening quickly. They did close off the road the last couple of days as they were doing some concrete pours and needed to bring some large equipment in. We're going to try and continue to communicate as those things happen. But we're excited to see that progress is happening and happening quickly. Also exciting to see that the softball field relocation is happening very fast. It went from a chain link fence to a whole lot of dirt moving very, very quickly. So we're excited to see that process moving forward. You may have also seen that the cell phone tower is pretty much finished construction. They were finishing up the fence that goes around it. I did want to share with you that cell phone tower may be a while before it is operational. It requires a power connection. That power connection has to be provided by PG&E, and so that we will be at the mercy of PG&E for a little while here, and it may take some time before it's actually functioning, but nonetheless, it is up, and it's exciting to see all of the progress that is happening for our college. Certainly it's a big difference around here. In the next week or so, through the administrative team, we're going to be distributing some Repatriation Act guidance. So the Repatriation Act centers on having any artifacts from the Native American culture. Oftentimes, we will have items that are utilized in classrooms or displayed in our institutions, and an act has come out recently that no longer allows for us to hold on to those artifacts. So we'll be distributing a complete guide that explains what we need to do. I'm just asking for your attention as that information comes out. So our first step is we're going to try and explain that to managers to make sure that they understand what that looks like and what steps we need to take. And then they will reach out more broadly to the college community just to make sure that we're following all of those guidelines moving forward. Wanted to make sure that you are aware that the Chancellor's holding his next open door event on October 18th from 9 to noon in the Faculty and Staff Lounge, which is in Building 300. I know a number of you took advantage of that open door opportunity when he did it in September. I would encourage you to do that again in October. It's not only a great chance to get to know him, but also to talk to him about the things on your mind, the things that you're concerned about or hoping that he and the district might be paying attention to. So please take advantage of that if you would like to. We have our first ever YC scholarship dinner coming up on October 19th. This is an opportunity for us to recognize student scholarship winners and also the donors who make those scholarships possible. There will be a brief program where you will get to hear some of the stories of student scholarship winners and the difference that those funds have made for them. We are looking forward to showcasing that scholarship process and to continuing to cultivate donations that make scholarships possible for our students. I'm sure that we all know that money can be one of the biggest barriers to success for our students. Scholarships are one of the many ways that we try and remove some of those barriers for them. And we're looking forward to this event. I want to thank Martin Gutierrez, not only because he does lead the scholarship process, but he's participating in planning this event, and so is Dr. Teresh, and then of course our partners Jay and Elena from the YCCD Foundation. Coming up, we have a little bit of time to plan, but coming up on November 2nd, the Chico State president and his team are going to be visiting Yuba College for a few hours that morning. It's going to be an opportunity for us to strengthen our connections with Chico State. It's a chance to talk about transfer opportunities and maybe increasing transfer opportunities. It's going to be a chance for us to talk about some of our initiatives that we have been working out and see if we can make some progress there. And it's also a chance for him to get to know Yuba College. We certainly send a number of students to Chico after they finish here at Yuba College, and we want to make sure that we are doing our best work to keep that pipeline steady, so that students have opportunities for them when they finish their certificates and degrees here at Yuba College. I also want to make sure it's on your calendar that Woodland Community College presidential search. The final interviews and forums are scheduled for the week of November 13th. So it will be an opportunity for us to hopefully support them in finding the best possible candidate for Woodland and for us as a district. So please mark your calendars if you're interested in watching those forums, etc. I wanted to throw out a couple of kudos. We've had a lot of really great events over the last month or so. In particular, we had an incredibly successful transfer day. So to our student services leaders, Chris Sanchez, Dr. Teresh, Annabelle, Ruth, the entire team that put that together. I cannot share with you enough how great it felt to walk outside and see 1,000 students out on our quad. Equally important was seeing just how many of Yuba College's employees were out there, whether it was that they were hosting a booth or supporting a booth, or participating in passing out pizza or making sure that students know where to go. It was a warm and incredible day. And thank you very much for your leadership on that effort. You are certainly appreciated. I always struggle when I recognize people because I know there are a lot of other things that are going on, but I wanted to just take a minute to say kudos to you all. We sure appreciate all the work that you did on that event. All right, my last update is just a regular update on the facilities master planning process. I've put in bold some dates there. Please mark your calendars for November 6th and November 8th. We haven't yet finalized the exact time for our open forums. The surveys for students are getting finalized and should go out soon, but our opportunity as employees to provide some feedback and things to think about in the facilities master planning process will happen largely through this open forum. And I want to communicate it as often as I can because I'm hoping we'll have a lot of you there to help us with our best ideas. This will be a time not only to say, here are the things about our existing facilities that need some attention or have some opportunity, but also to do some future thinking and to throw out some ideas about what we might need to be planning for the longer term, 10 plus years down the road. So please mark your calendars, November 6th and November 8th for those times. Once we have an exact date and an exact time, we certainly will send detailed information out about that shortly. With that, I'm going to turn it over to my partner, JP.
Hello, everyone. I'm here today to speak to you about our accreditation. We are due for our ICER in 25. And so this is the timeline we want to share with you today. And all of you should have gotten our email. It came from Mark Urban, but don't look for his name if you search for the email to see if you got it because it came through Qualtrics. But it came Friday just before noon. So you should all have a survey link in there and it's customized to each of you. If you didn't get it or can't find it, please email Mark Urban so that he can get that to you. So we really need to get our teams set up and we're hoping to do that in October. And then October and November, we want to get that development work for that draft. And we're hoping to get Gohar from ACCJC to come do a training in November. But yeah, we need to get that first draft written just before break so that the steering committee can review it and give updates. And then we have that professional development day in January to do some more updates and training, so we can get to work on all this. And I am going to pass it off to Christina. You're muted, Christina.
I knew I was going to do that. Sorry about that, everybody. Speaking of Mark Urban, I want to give him a big welcome. He is our Director of Institutional Effectiveness. Mark comes to us from El Paso, Texas, and is a self-described data geek. So we are very, very happy to have him here. If you're up in the 100 building, please stop by and say hello to him. Spring 24 schedules are finalized. The secretaries are working on pulling load cards and making sure all of that is done. So we should have those out to you soon. Summer and fall of 24 is currently in development, and deans and scheduling directors will be working over the next couple of weeks to do meetings with each department. The accreditation writing team participation survey is out. As JP said, it was sent out on Friday. JP, I'm going to ask if you could put the name of the survey group in the chat for everybody. That way they can take a look. If they're like me, they might have deleted it coming from an outside group. Program review is coming soon. That information will come out, so please keep an eye out for it. And then we do have some timelines for new hires that are coming up. Our Director of Academic Excellence, the candidate has been identified and pending board approval next week. They will begin on October 23rd. Dean of CT and Workforce Development, the first round interviews are working on being scheduled, and they anticipate the forums for those in late October. So please pay attention if you'd like to participate. Next slide, please. Tutoring services, things that we would like to share with everyone. Tutoring is off to a great start. The overall visits in our centers are up almost 30% from last spring at this mark in the semester. Hours are up over 46%, and we are up over 17% in the actual number of students served. So thank you to everyone who is referring students to tutoring services. Writing, the WLDC, the Writing Center, has a program we started last year called our Traveling Tutors. If you are doing a project in your class and the students need help with writing, or you need an extra set of eyes to help with groups, please reach out to Darla Hagerman and she can schedule a tutor or two to come into your classroom. We had faculty take advantage of this last year and really enjoyed the process, and it's also a great way for them to get to know those tutors we have in the center. And then I know it's a little bit early, but we are in need of tutors across all of our disciplines. So please start looking at your rosters. Pay attention to those students you think that might be good. We can start taking recommendations now, and we'll just pay attention to their final grades as it gets closer to the end of the semester. So please reach out to either Brian Jukes for the WLDC or Christoph Knopfsinger for the CSC, and we are happy to take recommendations now. Next slide. So our departments have a number of events coming up. We've got Night of the Living Dead coming from our theater department. The dates there are listed. And then from music, we have our Tuesday noon recital. So if you're on campus, those dates from 12 to 1, please feel free to stop in to that event. It's work that the students are doing throughout the semester, and they put together the performance piece and practice that skill. Next slide. We also have our 2 end of the year concerts. One is the Symphonic and Jazz Instrumental, and that'll be November 3rd. And it's kind of a culminating event. It goes through a big portion of their repertoire. And then we have the symphonic and jazz concert for the winter, and that will be December 1st. All of them are free events. They do welcome donations. So that if you're around, I do hope you'll stop by. I think that is my last, and I'm going to hand it over to Dean Bagley.
Thank you, Dean Vanucci. You brought a lot of wonderful news. It's gonna be hard to follow that. But I get the privilege this YuZoom to give an update kind of going on in the STEM and social sciences division. And what I chose to choose to focus on this year is to share with the group kind of the excitement and the energy that we have building with the collaboration with the Yuba Water Agency and Yuba College. We're entering year 2 of a 5-year grant where we've been able to hire a full-time faculty member to help us build curriculum to create opportunities for our workforce, regional workforce in the natural resources area. That lead faculty member is Carmen Bowen. I also want to give a shout out to Corey Champ in the STEM division, who's also been a champion on this for development, and in our other CTE division, Dale Vogelsang. So next. I don't know how I muted, but there we go. I wanted to share, for the grant, our goal was to have classes starting by spring of 2024. So we actually are 1 semester early, but I want to share that this group, we've created 3 certificates already. The first one you see here is a watershed management certificate. And as you can tell, watershed's a big deal for our region with Yuba Water Agency. When we have a healthy watershed, everything comes together for our agriculture, economics, for our safety. We just don't want to have a paradise situation or more of these massively devastating fires. This certificate, 6 courses, 2 of them were able to be offered this fall semester. And if you look at, we have total 62 people taking these classes that could work toward their certificate. One in particular is getting a lot of excitement around our region is an introduction to web-based geographic information systems. I'm happy to talk to people about that more, but let's look at the next certificate, please. Next slide. This is the specific one. You see the different employers, but a lot of employers in the region are really knocking on a lot of colleges' doors saying, can we get GIS training? And again, we've offered our first section, and we've been able to put it fully online with Carmen Bowen, and that is Intro to Web GIS. And next slide. And soil conservation technician. And also, you'll notice a lot of overlap, and that's true. It's a multidisciplinary natural resources field. So it's natural to have a lot of the overlap, but Ecology 10 are environmental concepts and issues. But I know agriculture is a big industry in our region, and we want to be able to support that for workforce and training. And there's a big event coming up that I want to pump up. If we can do the next slide. Next Wednesday, a week from today, almost exactly a week from today, California's Watershed Healing. We have the opportunity and privilege of bringing a famous documentarian, Jim Thibault. He has been, his movies and documentaries have been put on public broadcast, PBC, what is it, public broadcast system. So if you've watched Channel 6, this is nationally known. He's known, and he had been hired out to do a regional documentary in our back door, the Yuba River watershed. You might see people in this actual documentary that you might know, hint, hint. So you need to be here to see who these people are. We have an expert panel that's going to be following the documentary. Is about 50 minutes, and then we're going to have an expert panel following to answer questions of the audience and kind of share their thoughts of the documentary. But I will tell you, I know I do believe this, and a lot of people in our division, probably one of the most important issues we're facing right now has to do with, our environment and climate issues that are going on. I want you to know that this movie is not a sad movie. This is more of a positive movie of what we can do and things that we could do together to make our region more prosperous. It's a free event. I want to give a shout out to Tony McDaniel, Carlos Gomez, Juana Enriquez. We're getting a whole bunch of students who from Mesa and SSS STEM. They're going to be meeting some of the expert panel members earlier in the day, but this is really exciting. And I I invite you to join us. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. And if you want some of your students to see some of these experts, also reach out to me. And I think our next person is going to be Dr. Teresh.
Hi, everyone. So we are continuing our new tradition of highlighting an employee at each YuZoom. And this month, we have the pleasure in student services of being able to select an employee to spotlight. And we are spotlighting Alejandra Barnes, who serves as the Administrative Assistant 3 in my office. So she's the assistant to the Vice President of Student Services. And Alejandra has been an absolutely key member of the division. She has helped keep things running in the transitions between vice presidents. She is the go-to person for staff and managers all across the division when they need assistance with budget-related items, hiring-related items, event planning, meeting requests. There probably isn't anything about the campus that Alejandra doesn't know. And if she doesn't know the full answer, she knows exactly who to call to get the full answer. And so there's a lot to be said for the resourcefulness of an employee who takes it as their mission to find an answer for you and to support you in any way that you need it. I know I feel that every day in working with her. Alejandra worked in STEM and social sciences. She also worked in EOPS prior to coming to the office over in the vice president's area. And she is a proud Yuba College graduate herself, receiving her associate's degree here with us. And she's also a veteran of the U.S. Army. And she brings so much every day to her job. In particular, she puts a lot of effort into supporting our students who are struggling to find the resources that they need. They end up in our building not sure exactly where to go. She helps process their petitions, make sure that they get an answer as quickly as possible. And when there's an escalated issue, she works incredibly hard to de-escalate the issue and make sure that the student feels heard and seen and that they know that someone is in their corner to help them. So if everybody can please join me in thanking Alejandra for everything she does for our division. And she really does not want me to be talking about her in public because she likes to be behind the scenes. So you can just say thank you in the chat and give some little thumbs up and claps and tell her hello when you see her on campus. All right, so next slide. I wanted to give an update to everybody about overarchingly what our plans are for being able to implement student wellness services at the college. And so across the state and the nation, there's been a movement to pull together things like student health services, mental health services, basic needs services under an umbrella using terms like wellness or well-being. And so using that wording, student wellness, I wanted to walk you through our multi-pronged approach that you are going to see phased in throughout the year in supporting our students. So you have already seen a lot of announcements about the great activities we've started for students in our wellness coaching series. And thank you very much for referring students. We've had excellent turnout at these workshops. So far, we've had a Start Well and a Stay Well workshop. And later in the end of the semester, we're going to do an End Well workshop. And these have helped walk students through an understanding of what it's like to balance being in school along with family obligations and work obligations, identifying strategies for success in recognizing physical health, mental health, financial health, emotional health, a whole variety of things that make students successful and feel holistically well. We've also started a stress and anxiety workshop series. And again, we have seen tremendous turnout in our very first stress workshop where students get an opportunity to hear from a clinical psychologist, an overview of stress and then later anxiety. And then they have a group workshop in which students can have that opportunity to share and talk through issues that they're facing. And we've heard from the psychologist that the very first workshop was just an incredibly open opportunity for students to talk about what they're dealing with and a kind of safe environment that they've set for each other and to have those conversations. So we're starting with those in these sessions that you've already seen. Next, we will be launching a virtual just next in wellness, I apologize. Next in our phasing in of services, we are relaunching virtual healthcare through behavioral health through timely care. And we will be providing lots of information to you about the launch of that so that you can hopefully continue to be our partners in helping students understand what's available to them. These services will give students 24/7, 365-day access to mental health counseling through a Talk Now approach, where they can call and be connected with someone immediately to talk through an emotional, mental, or behavioral health issue that they're experiencing. They'll also be able to make scheduled appointments with behavioral health experts, therapists, psychologists, and we also have a basic needs assessment that's now going to be built into Timely Care. After that, you will also start to see a phased-in approach to our face-to-face health services being provided by a local healthcare provider. I want to thank M&O for their work in getting the health clinic in the shape that it needs to be. That was one of the barriers that we had in finding a healthcare partner last year, that the facility was not in a shape for them to be able to feel like they could provide services. So you will see once we have solidified dates and services available to start to provide, again, on-site healthcare for our students. And then just as a reminder, Anita Wilkes does an amazing job making sure everybody knows about the services that are available for basic needs, but we are continuing to have ongoing programming through basic needs, which includes food and housing and security services, wellness activities, financial wellness, connections to things like CalFresh, community resources, really looking at ways that we can holistically support our students. So throughout each phasing of these wellness services, we will make sure that you have the information you need to be able to support students in connecting to those resources. But again, because it's such an important issue, the student services team wanted to make sure you had an understanding of what we're planning for the rest of the semester. I'm happy to take questions at the end of this when we finish the rest of our slides. So next, I will be sending it over to Angel Munoz.
Thank you, Dr. Tresh. So just a friendly reminder that the deadline to petition online to graduate for fall is November 15th. Students will need to petition online to receive degrees, certificate of achievements, and certificates of training. Last spring, we transitioned to outsourcing the printing of our certificate of achievements and associates. So all of them currently now go through Parchment. But just a reminder, the certificates of training are still printed within the departments. We recently finished up conferring degrees and certificates for summer 2023, and they were mailed out the week of September 18th. Thank you. Oh, and with that, I'm turning it over to Chris.
Thank you, Angel. I am so happy to introduce our new counselor, Pao Lee. She has been a part-time counselor here at Yuba College for 7 years. She graduated from Sacramento State University with a bachelor's degree in child development, and she has a master's degree in counseling. She's really excited to continue her journey here at Yuba College because one of her key things is student success. So we are excited to have her full-time now. She was a part-timer for a long time. So if you stop by the counseling office or see her walking around, please welcome her to Yuba College. Next slide, please. I just want to remind everybody that we want to encourage our students that it's time to think about the classes they're taking for the spring of 2024, or if any of the students need to complete an educational plan. All of this has been posted to Canvas, but students have 4 different ways that they can schedule an appointment to meet with a counselor. They can come into the counseling office. They can give us a phone call. They can go to ESARS and schedule an appointment. And when this is sent out, they can click on ESARS and it's already there for them, or they can visit our counseling virtual office where we can help them schedule an appointment. As a reminder, we can see students by telephone. We can have a counseling appointment through telephone, face-to-face, Zoom appointment. We do have appointments. The last appointment that we take is until 5:30. Not only do we have services here at the Marysville campus, but also at the Sutter campus. So please encourage your students to be thinking about what their pathway is and how the counseling department can help them with that. Specifically thinking about, what do I want to take in the spring semester? We are here to help them. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'd like to go ahead and pass it on to the next person, which is Marcy from the Office with Students of Disabilities.
Thank you. We just want to let everyone know that Sean Melton will be presenting a Zoom webinar this Friday, focusing on the importance of making sure that all the digital flyers and announcements that we send out are accessible for all individuals. The link to the Zoom is provided here, and professional development credits are available by registering for the event. That link is here as well. We also want to invite you to join us for a disability awareness event on October 19th from 11 to 1. We're going to mix it up a little bit. Instead of having it outside of our building, we're going to move it over to the quad area between the cafeteria and the theater. We'll have fun activities, we'll have community resource tables, free lunch, and we're going to have a couple of student speakers sharing their personal stories. One starting at noon and one at 12:15. So we hope you'll help us support these brave students by spending your lunch hour with us on Thursday the 19th. And with that, I'll turn it over to Meredith.
Hi, I think every time I come here, I show you this list of senators, but every time I come here, it's changed. So I just wanted to point out that we have that highlighted in yellow are new since I was here last time. We have James Gilbert will be a replacement for Rajan Gill's. So he's a at-large spot. And then we have Giuliano, and I'm going to butcher the last name. I'm sorry, Tony. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I'm really bad with names. But he's our part-time at-large representative. So I encourage you, if you have questions, comments, anything, reach out to any of the representatives, me or Melissa. We'd always love to hear from you guys. If we could go, oh, the last one, this should be highlighted, but it wasn't. Sorry, can you go back to slide one more? Sorry about that. And we also have Karendeep Qatar, who is our ASYC representative. So she's new since last time we had, since last time I talked to you as well. If we could go to the next slide. Recent conversations that have come up. Last time I talked to you guys, I think I mentioned AP 5075. It's a really big one that has a lot of impacts on a lot of things. So if you have thoughts about AP 5075, which is the last day students can add classes, I encourage you to share that with any senators. And I'm not just speaking to faculty, I'm speaking to anybody, right? It's very complicated. It touches students in a variety of different ways. We're also talking about graduation requirements for degrees and certificates. There's not a huge change, but really the biggest change we're looking at is making related to the number of units related to certificates of achievement. And then finally, we're looking at AP 4260, which is a prerequisite challenge process. We're working to develop suggested revisions. And I share all this with you just to say, if you have any comments about any of them, please feel free to share them with any of the senators. And then this is not related to Senate business, sorry, but since I have you guys all here, I am currently fostering two 8-week-old kittens from Yuba College campus. We've had them since they were 4 weeks old. If you know anyone at all who's interested in these adorable tabby kittens, please send them my way. They are great, adorable little cats that just really, really need a home, right? And now as they get older, I'm worried we won't be able to find one. So anybody at all that might be interested, let me know. And that is all I have.
All right, let's check in. Eric Burns, are you here with any updates? I don't see him. All right, how about our partner from the bookstore? Nope. Okay, anyone from the district that might be here and have any updates for the group? All right, well, with that, that's the end of our presentation, and we certainly will stay on if you have any questions. Our next YuZoom will be November 1st at 4 o'clock via Zoom, and we look forward to seeing you there. If you don't have any questions, you're welcome to go, and we'll stay on if there are any.
I have a